All right, we're going to move on to leveraging content to create learning opportunities and new revenue. And with us is Chad Phelps. He's the Chief Digital Officer, and Barry Kelly, the CEO of Thought Industries. So guys, same question to you. What's the innovation and what's the impact? And we know what the innovation is you're creating, but give me one example, like Reader's Digest or something, what they did, how much money they made, how many new people they got.
Good question. Yeah, I think innovation, I mean, from our perspective, learning is a complicated thing. And what we want to do is simplify that whole approach. From the ability to sell, package content, and deliver it. So we wanted you to be able to leverage media brands, organizations, to be able to leverage the audience and content to bring it together and build high-margin, profitable learning businesses. And so that's what we've done, and we've allowed a lot of organizations to be able to do that.
All right, give me a specific result. Can you? They increased, they built a new revenue stream that was 20,000, 50, what?
Right, so in the presentation you're going to see what F&W has done in the e-learning environment and what we've been able to build on the back of that.
Okay, if you don't,
it's in there.
I'll be back.
All right, well, okay, we'll make sure to cover that. Well, thanks folks very much. Appreciate your time today. Thanks to John. My name is Barry Kelly. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of Thought Industries. We're based in Boston, Massachusetts, but I'm originally from Dublin, Ireland. And we're here today to talk a little bit about what we've been doing to help enable and grow and help organizations grow learning businesses, high margin, multi-million-dollar learning businesses. We take a very sort of broad approach to learning and the way that we think about it. From single short format experiences, learning about products, all the way to certifications on the other end for sort of B2B audiences. And so what we've really done is helped you make this transition very easy. Take all the risk out of it, take all the cost out of it, so that you can create a white labeled learning platform and deliver that to your existing audience. And also empower you to deliver that in a lot of different monetization mechanisms. So that's a little bit about us, but most importantly, today I want to introduce Chad, who is the Chief Digital Officer of F&W Media. We've been working together for the last year and a half together, and Chad's done a tremendous job growing multi-million-dollar learning businesses for the last number of years, and you're going to tell us a little bit about F&W.
Yeah, so quickly about F&W. F&W, at our core, we're a content, commerce, and community company in the consumer enthusiast space. So we're serving consumers content that's helping them better their passion, whether that's in the arts and crafts area or another area where they're trying to develop out a passionate enthusiast area. Our job as content providers is to instruct, inform, and inspire. And part of that is looking at the ways people are consuming content and making sure that we're speaking to those different content consumption habits for the audience, and that's going to lead straight into the e-learning that we're going to talk about in a little bit. We're a multi-channel content and product provider, and part of my charge at the organization is to look at diverse revenue streams. The last presentation was very interesting, talking about advertising. As a digital strategy, we actually diminish advertising and put more of an emphasis on paid content from users. We place a high value on the content that we provide users. And because we place that high value internally, our users in turn place a high value on the content we put in front of them. I joined F&W in 2008 with that charge of really launching this digital business. And when I joined in 2008, there really wasn't a digital business at F&W. I was a traditional, what I would call a terrestrial publisher, focused on books and magazines with a couple of events. And what we've been able to do at the company is really diversify that portfolio, launch a significant digital business, and have that digital business be a very important core piece of the business and a core piece of the content consumption for those customers. Today I have the stats up here. Digital is about 28% of the total company revenue, about 38% of the total company profit, and we're about an 850 employee company. So we're fairly significant, and digital is a significant part of that business. And as we're going to talk about as we go through this, online education has been core to that strategy, and it has become an 8-figure business for F&W.
Thanks, Chad. So quickly, just wanted to jump in and talk a little bit about the business models that have been leveraged around learning. You think about learning traditionally, purchase, learn over a period of time with an online instructor, get a certification, and end. And we've taken a very different approach, from audience development all the way through to that sort of premium product experience. And I just wanted to show a couple of the different models that we talk about and we've enabled, and tried to simplify for you as well. So obviously the paid model, I would say probably about 80% of our clients across the platforms are delivering this on a premium basis, whether that's a la carte, so selling individual course units or experience units, whatever those may be, anything from $10 to $1,200 to $2,000. It really is, the range is pretty broad. We see direct to consumer, obviously some of those prices a little bit lower, and as you get into professional learning into B2B spaces, we see those costs go up. Subscription as well, very complicated, as everyone knows, in terms of subscription management, and also the ability to really be able to package and deliver learning in lots of different ways. Bundling with physical product, and the ability to create a seamless buying experience, and the ability to also be able to increase the lifetime value of the customer through all of these methods. Sponsored and ad-supported, not something you always think about when you think about learning, and obviously ad blocking is an interesting one here. We provide a mechanism to allow you to be able to work with your partners, your sponsors, to provide a new sponsorship vehicle. So think about long format content where a user might spend hours over a course or a period of time learning, and high levels of engagement, usually about 10x the engagement of any other types of articles or blog posts. So it's a great way to get advertisers involved, sponsors involved in being able to support learning, especially as you're engaged in sort of content marketing strategies with them as well. A little bit more on the B2B side, but certainly reselling and licensing, so the ability for organizations to create a body of content, online learning content, clone that and resell that into other organizations, maybe be corporations. So think about somebody creating wellness courses, branding it for Coca-Cola, and selling in seat licenses to an organization like that. So that one is obviously very interesting. And then obviously audience development, email capture, the ability to draw. These are really long content learning experiences, high levels of engagement, tremendous amount of data that you can collect on each of the users. So think about what happens when you turn up to learn. Filling out quizzes, going through surveys, questionnaires, and other things like that. We're able to mine a tremendous amount of information about that user so that you can use this on later. Yeah.
Sure, and for F&W, there's a couple of different learning models that we really focus on. We focus on video-based education, and real quick, so when I think of online education, I think of three different things. I think of video-based education, I think of instructor-led courses, where we actually have an instructor that works with students, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And I think of short-form seminar-based education, whether that's a video seminar, an audio seminar, the go-to-meeting that we're all very familiar with. So we think about education in those three areas and have really invested, not significantly, but we've invested quite a bit in developing out a video business. That's the first thing we're going to talk about a little bit. We have a streaming subscription business, and we sell on-demand videos for our consumers. And at the end of the day, this content is just another delivery vehicle for us for the same content that we used to put in print. So if somebody is trying to learn about a particular technique or learn about something in a particular industry, we're taking what used to be printed words on pages and putting it in a video format that is really conducive to education and to learning, the same way that somebody used to use that printed material to educate themselves and to learn about a business. So we have 6 distinct categories where we've launched these video-based education subscription sites, and we sell both the subscriptions and the on-demand video on these sites. And as you can see in the slide, we've put a significant amount of content onto these sites over the past few years. So we've really been able to develop out this content internally. About 95% of that content is wholly owned content, with either very little or no royalties attached to it. And we have invested in 3 video studios at F&W so that we can shoot these videos internally. And we do the highest quality video that you possibly can in a studio setting. So we use 3 cameras, HD, and really film it out. And then the great thing about this video business is that I've been able to staff up as we've grown and bring in video expertise, production expertise, so that we have a very robust support structure for this video. And really, as we roll out these video sites, we focus on that subscription revenue for the same reason that magazines focus on subscription revenue. It's an annuity product. We have a fairly high retention rate on those products. And because we continue to feed the content and those renewals, as I said, are very healthy, and we're also able to charge a significant price point for a lot of these models. So our video streaming sites range in price from about $69.99 a year to $229.99 a year. And we have a fairly high conversion rate with those. And we offer both a monthly and an annual subscription on these video sites. So somebody can come in monthly, and the average time on file for a monthly subscriber is about 3.5 months. And they're paying anywhere from $14.99 to $24.99 per month for that subscription. And then the annual subscription, the typical time on file is about 1 year and 9 months per subscriber. And then the other model we really focus on is instructor-led education, and this is exactly what it sounds like. So if you have ever taken a course online and had an instructor and a platform to interact with that instructor, that's what we use Thought Industries for in this scenario. So an instructor comes in and teaches a course, and the instructors that we work with are generally contributors to either magazines or book businesses or another content business that we have. So we just extend that relationship with that content provider, bring them into the fold in a different way, allow them a platform to generate new revenue for themselves and for the company. And from a consumer standpoint, it creates a one-to-one experience for the consumer because they're interacting directly with the instructor, they're interacting with their peers, and they're able to really utilize this platform to have an immersive learning experience. And one of the ways I describe this is if you think about paper-based education or paper-based education or even online websites that are words on a page, that's really a two-dimensional experience. I would call a video experience sort of two-dimensional plus. It's still a one-way experience. The instructor-led courses are really a three-dimensional, completely immersive, interactive experience. And because of that, we're able to maintain a high price point, and we do not discount our courses because it is as immersive an experience as if you were taking a 1-week course at a community college or up to a 16-week course at a university. We provide that same experience with these instructors. And these courses range in price from $49 for a 1-week course up to about $1,200 for a longer form course. And we have a large percentage of our users that take multiple courses and very high marks from both instructors and students on working with the Thought Industries platform and creating that community feel with everything we do. And really, when we think about online education, I mean, this is one of the cores that we think about within the organization, and it's not just putting the content into an educational format and hoping that people come. I mean, we integrate it in print, we integrate it through all of our email campaigns, it's integrated through SEO, through paid search, we spend money on online advertising for this, social media. So again, this isn't something that supplements the magazine or augments the customer experience. This is something that we focus on internally. And I can't emphasize that enough because we place a very high value on this content, and that translates directly to the end customer because the end customer sees the value that we place on that content, and in turn they're able to spend on that content, again with no discounting, and we're able to keep those price points high.
So I think obviously the team a little bit asked about innovation and how sort of we bring innovation into your organizations and into the market. As a company, we've been around about 2 years. We really wanted to focus on making that transition to leverage content and expertise that you have in your building and really turn that into products just like Chad is talking about. Not only have we been involved heavily in the process of providing technology to do this and optimize this, we really help from a consultative standpoint as well. So helping understand market opportunities, the validation of those markets, and how to create a high margin quality product that you can grow and scale over a number of years. And how to create a connection with that existing audience that you already have. And as I said, we really wanted to think about it as from a holistic standpoint. How diverse can you create products from a one-time webinar, seminar type of experience all the way, as we said before, to something that's a little bit more extended in the certification area. And I think the important thing is about being able to have that direct relationship with your audience and monetize that. There's plenty of platforms we call marketplaces out there where you can create content, a course, a video, or whatever it may be, and distribute it, do rev share, and essentially you're handing your audience over. This is an opportunity we really feel for you to create a lasting relationship and a direct monetization relationship with that customer in whichever way you want. So just move on quickly. And just to get a hand off. Oh, there you go.
All right, so
there's a lot of.
So as far as the innovation at F&W, again, back to the point that I'm reiterating through this presentation is that we looked at content consumption from users and how to serve that content consumption in a different way in a paid model that extends that relationship. From a company standpoint, it diversifies our portfolio. We don't spend a lot of time internally talking about free content on YouTube that a user can get or on a news site. We think about how we can create quality content that a user will want to spend, open up their pocketbook for, and that's really what's important to us. And going back to that relationship with the customer and the relationship with the content provider, it allows us that extension of the relationship with those content providers who are also looking for different monetization channels for their expertise.
Great, thank you. Let's have a round of applause. Have a seat.
Thank you. Sure.
Here we go. All right, questions? Over here.
Mobile strategy for courses. How mobile are they?
Well, working with Barry and the team, there's a responsive template that we utilize for mobile experience, and about 35% of our users are on mobile.
35.
Yeah, 35%. And revenue from mobile is about the same. Yeah.
And
So
across platform, we've got about 60% usability on mobile devices as well. So that's been important. Responsive design in how we create those learning experiences and making sure you can deliver that quality learning experience is important.
Yeah.
Right here? Coming up behind you.
I was interested to know if you had explored partnerships with existing institutions like sort of universities and whether you saw what you saw the pros and cons of that being.
Sure. Yeah, I can talk about that a little bit. I mean, we have explored accreditation for some of the learning environments that we create. At this time, we haven't gone down that route because the barrier to entry is a little bit too high, and the ROI on that process hasn't quite spelled itself out for us internally. What we've done as an alternative is we provide our own certification for users, which has actually established a very high value for users. Users do place a high value on certification in one of our channels. So if we can certify somebody in graphic design and they place a high value on that professional certification versus going the accredited route.
Any more? All right, let me ask one. If I'm a publisher, I'm a magazine publisher, and I want to get into this business, do I create the content myself for the courses? Do you provide content? How does it work?
Yeah, good question. For the most part, we provide everything with the exception of the content. However, in a lot of the engagements we're in, we help build frameworks for learning. So again, we'll do a gap analysis of what type of content you have, your market, and help you build a way to have a really scalable sort of content creation process there. And then also train your editorial teams to be able to continue to develop that content over
So
time.
the creators of the course material are the staff?
Absolutely, yeah, and especially in editorial departments of organizations, as well as authors contributing, editors, writers, anybody that is able to, write an article, create a video, or create a content experience is involved in the process of creation.
And in the systems where you've done this, do those people get paid extra?
There's a lot of different models. I will say
Yeah.
there's so many. I mean, from licensing, it all depends on their affiliation with the organization. But for the most part, we're working with the editors of the magazines, websites, on digital native as well.
Yeah, so our business is a little bit more mature. So we started organically launching internally, but I quickly brought on people who are instructional designers who work on actually designing courses. And we actually prefer not to create the content internally. We would rather find a partner in the marketplace now because we have a platform, we've established the revenue streams, we've established the audience. So now I can go seek out instructors. And the ideal scenario is you find an instructor that has a following, whether that following is on social, in printed material, et cetera, and you work with that instructor and you give them a revenue share on the course. So they develop the actual content for the course. My staff designs the course. And that's not just design as in pretty pictures, but actually design the learning experience for that course, how it flows, what type of material to use, when to use video, when to use downloadable. PDFs, when to use imagery, et cetera, et cetera. But once the business matures, it's better to go out and source content providers and partner with them rather than trying to develop it organically, because you do have resource constraint issues.
Okay. Questions? So give me an example of one magazine, so a gardening magazine, and they came to you. What kind of course did they create? How long did it take? How much did they make?
Yeah, I think when we work with publishers or any organization, we're talking about weeks. This isn't a 2-week, 2-year get-to-market strategy. We do it very, very quickly. So technology takes us usually about 4 weeks to integrate and onboard, training about another couple of weeks as part of that, and then we've gotten most of our organizations to market within 10 weeks. We do connections with all sorts of enterprise systems as well, so it's very seamless. And so, depending, some organizations want us to build the first 5 or 10 courses with them to help to help that process along and do training. Others say, we got it, especially with F&W, for example, of high level of expertise. So basically we just provide the technology and work closely to onboard and integrate, or migrate in many cases if we're bringing users over from other existing platforms. But yeah, it's very, very quick, and a lot of times you're going to get data feedback very, very quickly. You launch a handful of courses and see what happens.
In a mature situation, what percent of revenue are you looking at from this?
From a total company standpoint, this is roughly 8 to 10% of the total company revenue.
Really?
Yeah.
In 2 years?
In about 7 years.
7 years, okay.
Yeah, but we started in video, and then we developed courses. The course business came about 4 or 5 years ago. And so again, we look at video courses and seminars as kind of our online education arm.
Cool, okay. Any more questions? Last chance.
Yeah, here.
Over here.
All right.
For the products you use in the videos, let's say you're doing something about cooking or knitting or crafting, do you sell these products separately on your store? Let's say someone is doing a video and he's saying, I'm using this phone or this pen or whatever. You can buy it on the store, and today it's 10% off. Are you kind of cross-selling through videos?
Absolutely. We do a few things with that. We're actually getting ready to launch actually integrated e-commerce sales with Thought Industries so that they can actually buy it within the education experience. Today they have to jump over to our e-commerce store to buy that, but we try to do a couple of things. We do integrated product sales with products that are used within the videos, but we also do required material. So we can create ebooks out of material from magazines. We can create ebooks out of material from books and make those a required part of the course. So then you're adding value for the customer, you're reusing content, you're reusing editorial expertise to create new products that you tie to those courses, which are also a new product for the company.
Great, we're out of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.